This is my first live, so there's not any questions coming in yet, which makes sense. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I have a book called Be Her Hero. I wrote it after years of experience with men, my husband being one, and working in my private practice with a lot of men. I work with a lot of couples, and then I also work with men and women individually who are working on creating more connected relationships, having more sex and less fighting in their relationships. So from that, I realized that there were just certain skills that men just didn't have because they hadn't learned them. And they were skills that were really necessary to connect with women. And so, my Be Her Hero book is a blueprint for men for success with women. It's how to build trust and connection with women. So, that's a great introduction to me. That's on Amazon. And um, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I'm planning on doing this regularly, and um, right now I'm looking at 5 o'clock Central on Wednesdays, starting next Wednesday. This Wednesday is Valentine's Day, so I'm going to be spending that with my man. But I'd be happy to spend every other Wednesday at 5 o'clock Central with all of you and answer all of your relationship questions. So stay tuned in for that. Looks like we don't have any questions today, but I will be here every Wednesday. Oh, well, hold on. My wife gets mad at me when I give her advice. Well, that is understandable. So, usually, why women are getting upset when you try to give her advice. First of all, I want to tell you, I understand where you're coming from giving her advice because you are trying to help. So, you're coming from this place of wanting to be able to contribute to the conversation and help her. She's upset about something. You want her to feel better. So, advice is naturally what you would try to do because that's often how, when men approach each other for conversation, that's why they're talking to each other. But when women are approaching each other for conversation, their goal is to be able to feel heard and understood and for their feelings to be center stage here. So often I will say when I'm talking to my husband, um, I already have figured out the solution to whatever it is I'm talking about, or maybe I don't, but what I need from him is to listen to me so I can figure it out. And what helps me figure it out is to feel understood and for him to say, it makes sense that you're feeling this way. That sounds overwhelming. That's very frustrating. Oh, I can't believe that happened. I need him to be on my side rather than give me advice because when he's giving me advice, it makes me feel like he's really not even on my side. It's like I'm doing something wrong and now he's correcting me. That's not what I'm going for. I want to feel connected so that I can figure it out myself. So thanks for the guy that sent that. So again, give you in a nutshell, what do you do when she's coming to you with something that she wants to talk about? Fail safe is to recognize that she's there to connect with you on a feelings level and for you to try to validate and understand her feelings. To be able to say, I'll give you a really easy one. That's overwhelming or that's frustrating. Because a lot of times, she's coming with an overwhelming or frustrating situation. Now, if you want to open it up a little bit more and you want to get to a solution at some point after you validate her feelings, that's overwhelming, that's frustrating, then you can ask her, what are your thoughts on how you like to handle this? That gets her to talk to you about her solution. Or I don't know, what do you think? And that gives you an opening for advice. So great question. Thank you so much for that. And I'm happy to answer any more questions you have. Oh, here, I have another one. My wife came home from a bad day, and all I did was make it worse when I suggested a solution. Yes, that that makes sense. Yeah. So when you suggested a solution, you weren't connecting with her on a feelings level. What happens is she's coming in with big feelings. You're trying to throw logic at it, and that never works. And that, in fact, will get you a very vividly irritated response often because she's coming to you with feelings and you're bringing logic, and then she doesn't feel heard. So again, the key to when any woman is coming to talk to you is just think of the word feeling. She's wanting me to understand her feelings. And I know sometimes it's hard to tell what she's feeling. So you could just think if it's a negative feeling she's throwing at you, then you could say things like, that sounds overwhelming. That's frustrating. I can understand why you would be upset about that. If she's coming in with something she's excited about, that's exciting. Ah, wow. Tell me more about that. Tell me more is really key. If you don't even know what to say, tell her, tell me more. So the more that you can get her to open up and that she knows you're listening, the closer she's going to feel to you. And that really enhances the erotic connection as well. Great questions, guys. Why does my wife ask for something by telling me her problem? Oh, yes. Okay. Um, Telling me her problem. How does she okay. So I'm thinking I'm thinking of this funny situation where my husband jokingly asked for a lemon to put in his water by saying, "Oh, I really, my water just is so bland. I just really wish I had something to put in my water to really spice it up or just make it taste different." And I was like, "Oh, here's a lemon." So the reason that women often do that is because women communicate in an indirect manner, and I mean, this is really getting deep, but the long and short of why women do that is because we as women are taught that the relationship is the most important thing, right? So that goes back into why we want to connect relationally, but also that our it's improper, rude, to be direct about your needs. Men tend to be very good about being direct about our needs. We get a lot of messages as women around uh, being too direct means that you're being brass or you're being a bitch or things like that. So women have learned to communicate indirectly about their needs. And so when I'm working with women, I talk to them a lot about direct communication, and not to come with a problem, but rather to come with how you're feeling and what you need. So if she comes to you with a problem, then you can ask her, well, how are you feeling and what do you need? So that's a way to get her to help her out to come to you with what she really is needing rather than the problem. Well, guys, these have been some great questions. I love this, our first live, and I'll be back Wednesday of next week at 5 o'clock. There was one other question I couldn't get to today, how to attract and not look creepy. So stay tuned for that one. All right. See you next time.